Hello, we are live. We're joined by Nicole, also known as BrandBabez on Instagram. So please go give her a follow. So Nicole, we sort of met on Instagram, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, quite accidentally.
Yeah, we were kind of just like liking each other's posts and things, weren't we? And just sort of commenting. And then we kind of realised we both lived in Cheltenham, and we were like, "What?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we've been friends ever since.
Oh, that's like I don't even know how the kids do it these days with the love heart thing, but yeah,
No, I don't know. Maybe like
we'll
that.
just whatever.
No, that.
But yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's good. I'm really pleased as well because it was I was kind of thinking there's not many people around here, but I suppose there's more than we realise.
yeah,
And it was nice to like have a fellow reseller friend.
yeah, yeah. It's nice, isn't it, when you meet people in like the local area and you can kind of do stuff with them and things like that. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice. So, and I was very lucky that I met you. So
Oh.
yeah. So just tell me kind of about a little bit about yourself and what got you into reselling.
So I am a single mum. I am also in recovery from addiction, and I started reselling earlier this year, sort of February, March time. As sort of at the time, I think it was kind of like something to do or something to kind of keep my mind busy and active. I saw a video actually on, I don't know, Instagram or TikTok or something. There's bloody cats everywhere. And it was someone who was going on about how Disney mugs um sell really well on eBay, and you can get them from charity shops for like £1 and then sell them for £10. And I was like, oh, so being the addict that I am, I just then went around every single charity shop I could find and bought all of the Disney mugs, and then decided, oh, let's just buy any mugs that seem a bit weird. And so basically ended up with about 100 mugs sat on my bedroom furniture and started taking pictures of them. And listing them on eBay. I already had eBay account, but again, not for reselling or anything like that. And I guess it kind of just bloomed from there. I started buying clothes. A lot of mistakes were made in those early days, just buying things that I thought were trendy, but I'm
Yeah.
32. I don't know what's trendy. So I ended up making quite a lot of mistakes there, and I've still got quite a lot of stock that I had then. But thankfully I learned pretty quickly, and got the ball rolling. And then I can't remember when I started doing consignment, but I started doing consignment a couple of months ago, and since then it's been amazing because I've just been able to work with lots of amazing customers, and obviously there's no money, I don't have to spend money on the things that I source, and I still get the 50% at the end of it. So it's really taken off, and I do it full time because I was in a really fortunate position where I didn't have another job.
Yeah,
So I've kind of just gone with it, and it's been
yeah.
amazing.
We've done a little bit of consignment together as well, haven't we? And that kind of
Mm-hmm.
helped me because at that point, like, I either didn't have any money to, go sourcing or anything like that. So kind of took some of your stock, and obviously we just split it 50
Yeah.
50, which is good because it kind of kept my eBay going as well. So I think like it's actually quite good if you are part time or you don't have like, if you go through stages where you don't have a lot of money to spend, like doing consignment does really help. It just keeps your store ticking over.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so yeah, it
Definitely.
does really help. Have you found as well that reselling has kind of helped you in your road to recovery with addiction as well?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I have discovered that even after putting the drink and the drugs down, you know, I've now got a shopping addiction. But thankfully, with the business, it's been that I can go shopping, and I've always loved charity shops, and I've always loved buying secondhand and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
But now I can go shopping, and but sell it at the same time. So it's
yeah,
kind of kind of feeding my
yeah,
addiction a little bit. But at the same time, it has. It's really helped. I've gotten better through recovery programs, but I'm now in a position where I've got the heating on in the house,
yeah,
and that is not just because I've got sober, but also because I found reselling
yeah.
and I can afford to. and it's my
Yeah.
own business. This is the thing. I didn't have a job for many reasons, but even the idea of looking for a job, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I've done a degree, but I had no idea what I wanted to do and what was going to fit around being a single mum, around all the sort of the fact that I wanted to have a life. I wanted to, but reselling has fit in perfectly. It's been absolutely amazing. I cannot believe like the chain of events that had to happen for this year to happen, but it's been a whirlwind and it's been so much fun and I love it.
And at least like reselling is healthier for you and you're making money at the same time.
Yeah.
And obviously you've made this your full-time job, which is great. And it's something that you love doing. So there's so many like positives there.
Yeah.
And I feel very proud of you anyway.
Oh, thanks, Blair.
And, I think, what you've done is great. I'm just going to jump in the chat just for a minute. So we've got Tap Peddler in. Hello. Wee Piece of Junie. Hello. I'm still waiting for my impersonation, Junie. Junie she's got a channel and she also does mimics of other resellers. So waiting for mine. We've also got Secret Carper in. Evening all. I wonder if you're going to start the whole fishing conversation this week, Rich. We'll see. We've got Kate in. Nice pajamas. Yep, they're my new Harry Potter pajamas. My new fleece.
Nice.
Yeah, very chuffed with that. Junie's ready with her questions again. Well done, Junie. And we've got Chris Tyler in. Hello. Chris says, don't think I know Nicole. Well, you do now, Chris. So go and follow her on Instagram at BrandBabez with a Z on the end. So go and give her a follow. And we've also got Floss who says, hello, what is consignment, please? Do you want to explain that one, Nicole?
Of course. So consignment basically means you have a client, say, for me, one of my consignment clients is my stepmom. So she finds things in charity shops or she gives me stuff she doesn't want anymore. I sell it for her. And then after fees and postage, we split it 50-50. So it works really well for people who have a lot of stuff they want to get rid of, but they don't have the time or the energy or the motivation to list it and sell it themselves. And it works really well for you because it means you don't have to pay for sourcing. So you're investing basically nothing into it. All you're doing is the actual listing of it and the sending out of the items and stuff. So it's a really good way to get started if you don't have very much money. And also to keep it like Sophie was saying earlier, to keep it rolling over, to keep your store rolling over. If you don't have the money or the time to source, then ask your friends and family if they've got anything that they want to get rid of, and just go from there. And I think the good thing about consignment as well is that a lot of people will give you all kinds of crap, like all kinds of stuff that you just probably would never have picked up at a charity shop or a car boot sale, but you sort of can learn more that way as well. Like you might stumble across something that someone's given you and you're like, what the hell is that? And it sells instantly, or it's worth loads of money, and then suddenly you've learned something that you wouldn't have learned already. It's a bit of a long-winded way of saying it, but I'm a bit of a chatterbox.
No, it's good. It's good. So like when you've done consignment before, has anyone ever like given you stuff and you've had to be like, no, do you know what, I'm really sorry, but I can't list that either because it literally won't make, like, it's not worth it, or like it really is just
usually, I mean, there will be people will give me some stuff and I will have to go through it and be like, right, what is half decent here and what isn't. But there's usually at least a couple of items in there that I'm like, yeah, that will sell, even if it doesn't sell for very much. And if it ends up being, say someone gives me a whole bag of clothes and they've got a couple of monsoon bits in there and they're great, let's stick the monsoon bits up on Vinted. If the rest of it is Primark, I will just put it together in a size bundle and put it on Marketplace. Anything is sellable. It's just you've got to know where's going to be the best place to sell it. And sometimes a really cheap brands will surprise you because someone really wants 3 pairs of Primark leggings. I don't know. Like I was actually looking for a bundle of leggings for me the other day on Vinted and I could hardly find any. So this bundles that I've got to go up, I'm definitely going to put on Vinted because any money is good money. I generally don't put anything up for less than £5 if I'm selling it on Vinted and eBay because it's not really worth my time. But if you bundle things together, you can put them up for a tenner, and then saves you the
Yeah.
hassle of having to get rid of it another
Yeah.
way.
I think especially if you've got like lower value items, like bundling them is the way forward to try and maximize the most profit you can sort of get out of it, rather than trying to do it individually.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes like bundles will just go a bit quicker as well, don't they?
Yeah.
People feel like they're getting as much as possible sometimes. So Junie's got a question for you, Nicole. Now we have touched on this at the start, but we'll just give Junie just a brief version. So what got you into reselling, and what did you do before you started reselling?
So we as I mentioned at the start, I got into reselling this year in about February, March time. I am in recovery from addiction. So I got into recovery on the 1st of January this year, and I realized that I needed something to keep my mind occupied as well as doing all the recovery stuff. So I stumbled across a video where someone was selling Disney mugs, finding them in charity shops for £1 and selling them online for £10. And I just went around and bought all the Disney mugs I could find in my local area in Cheltenham. So it sort of started there and grew from there. And I've loved every minute of it.
And Junie also says she's taken notes. Floss says thank you. That was a good explanation. Thank you, Nicole. And we've also got Pat Walker in. Thanks so much for joining. We've got Tonks. Hi guys, kind of watching, listening, footy on at the same time. Tonks is in the sweepstake with me from Cookie and the Hayden sweepstake. So I got Argentina, who have gone through to the final, and Tonks has got France, and it's France v Morocco tonight. So it could be us in the final. We don't know yet. I feel like France will beat Morocco though. Floss says thanks. I am also a nurse, by the way. Woo! Nurse crew. Started reselling last couple of months, and most definitely addicted now. Yep, Floss, I started in January this year, so I'm coming up to my first year of reselling. I'm hoping to kind of be able to make it more of like a full-time gig, really. But it's all a work in progress, all going well. I wish you luck as well, Floss. Just heading a bit more down the chat now. Junie, don't worry, don't worry about we're more than happy to repeat ourselves. Don't worry, it's absolutely fine.
I love chatting.
And Chris says, "What's the cat's name?"
That one up there is Yuka. Yes, and then there's another one that's her twin sister is Sakura. So Japanese names, because we also host Japanese students when I'm not busy.
Junie's also got another question for Ash. Says, what has been your best seller so far, and what has been your worst?
Well, we know what my best one is, don't we, Soph?
Yeah.
I was very fortunate, and I found a 98-99 goalkeepers away shirt for Manchester United. So apparently I found out now that was the triple year. So they won 3 somethings in that year. I don't know football at all, but so I found it in a charity shop for £5, and I thought, I've seen that sharp logo, I know to look out for that. Listed it, and it sold instantly on both Vinted and eBay, and I went, shit, I've done something wrong here. So I had to cancel both of them. I put it up for auction, and it sold for £675. That bidder ended up pulling out, but it did end up going to the next highest for 600. So £5 to 600. That's definitely my best flip so far. It paid for Christmas, so absolutely amazing. And my worst is probably I'd say the things that I won't buy again are chocolate mugs, like any mugs that have any chocolate branding on. I thought for some reason they would sell really well, and they just don't. I don't know why I thought that, but hey ho. So I'm generally avoiding that now. My love of mugs is a very tumultuous relationship. Some mugs are great.
We found some good stuff though, didn't we, when we were up, because Nicole's got a storage unit, and I sometimes come and just like hang out at the unit. Well, just be a pain more than anything really. But There was a lady there who she wanted to just get rid of everything out of her storage unit so she could move, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
So we got like a washing machine, that apothecary table thing,
Yeah,
a little
okay.
table thing. Um,
Amazing the things people throw away, honestly.
yeah, and something else. But we sold it off about 400 quid, didn't we? So we split
Yeah.
that 200 each because like we both just found it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was quite good, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And that's the other thing about, since I've moved into the storage unit. So I moved in August, September time. And since moving in there, I've managed to pick up so many consignment clients who've had an insane amount of stuff. I sold a sofa, it's not even vintage, antique sofa for someone that I met in the storage unit. And that went for £500. So that was, after the eBay fees and everything, that was about 200 quid in my pocket. But again, it's consignment, so I didn't have to pay a penny for it.
Yeah.
And I think people are really kind of grateful as well that they've got someone else to do all that stuff, because
Yeah.
people hold on to things knowing that they're worth a lot of money, or even just hold on to things for the sake of it, and then when they find a reseller who will do it for them, they're like, great, brilliant. They don't even care that they're not getting the full amount of money. They're just like grateful they don't have to fucking worry about it.
Yeah.
So.
And I think it's quite good what you've done, like, because a lot of people, they'll get a storage unit and they just worry about the price of it all the time. But you've kind of thought outside the box a little bit and like found people in there, because a lot of people use it for moving and things. They don't actually want the stuff anymore. It's just there.
No.
And you've been like, well, give it to me, and made extra out of it. So,
and I've made super good friends with the staff at Big Yellow as well. Shout out to Big Yellow, by the way, everyone. And and they'll do it for me. They do my job for me now, because they go and every time someone's moving out and they want to get rid of stuff, they go, oh, there's Nicole's card, BrandBabez, give her a call, and it's it's amazing. And I think it just goes to show, like, the more people that you sort of connect with doing this, it you can make money if you're a personable person, or even if you just you just have to take that one first step, that little step. And sometimes it feels like a big step. I'm trying to get Sophie to get a unit at Big Yellow as well, because I'm like, honestly, it pays for itself, because once you've got that headspace out of your house as well, you start being more productive. But yeah, I'd recommend it to anyone getting a storage unit. Just keep talking to people.
Do you ever find you have like a pressure to pay for the storage unit? Like if you have like a bad week on eBay or anything like that, do you ever feel like there's a bit of a pressure to pay it each month?
I don't. I do it on the day that I get my universal credit through, because I'm still on universal credit. And I do it. I've organized it so that it comes out on that day. So that way I know that I have the money in my account.
Yeah.
And I just go, right. And it's, I pay about 230 quid a month. And for the first 8 weeks, it was half of that. So, but it was, now I pay about 230 quid a month, which actually, just by doing it, I have started earning way more than that, just by getting it all out of my house and getting more productive. And having that mental space. I list things in the house, I take photos in the house and I list them, bag them up, and they go down to the unit. And then when they've sold, I go down to the unit, pack them up and send them out. And just having my house back and having that space to list, it does make it a lot better. Although I'm not going to show you my fucking living room at the moment. I say this in essence, but in practice it can be a bit different.
Stonk says France scored an early goal. Looks like it'll be France and Argentina. So that'll be me and Tonks in the final. Junior says that's amazing. Well done, Nicole.
Thank you.
Tonks £600. Wow. Rich 600. That's amazing. It really is like amazing. So how much did the GK top sell for on eBay and Vinted? Because you had it on for a bit of a different price, didn't you? Then you realised.
I put it up for $69.99 because I saw the yellow one. There's a yellow one, right? The blue one is the one that I saw. There's a yellow one, which I think people will remember. I remember from being a kid. It was Schmeichel.
Yeah.
Wore it, and so I found the yellow one and just priced it around the same price as that one goes for, which is about £70. And yeah, put it up on both eBay and Vinted, and literally within seconds they sold on both instantly. And I was like, oh no, what have I done? I always think when stuff sells really quickly that I've priced it too low anyway, but that was ridiculous. And then I had actually I had an amazing guy message me on eBay who said, oh, he first of all sent me a message and said, I saw that it sold, but I'll give you 150 quid. And I went, whoa, what's happening here? What's going on? He goes, oh, just so you know, one did just sell for 400 I think it was like 425 or something, 420. He said, I've got to tell you because you can't miss out on that kind of money. And I was so grateful for him helping me with that journey and doing all of that after it sold, I did get in touch with him. I said, what's your PayPal? And I chucked him 20 quid because I was like, if it weren't for you, I'd have been like, okay, 150. So it's amazing because, you know, sellers do help each other. And I think it's important too, because, you know, I guess there can be a bit of rivalry, and sometimes I get pissed off at Sophie for breaking all of our trade secrets on here. But but no, we have to help each other, you know, because that's how we learn and we all grow from it. So
and there's quite a good, like, the reselling community is pretty good. Like, you know, most people are pretty friendly, always willing to help, and, you know, help shift stock, things like that. Like, everyone's kind of in it together, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Junie says you should get to know Carla Jenkins. She loves her mugs too.
Love a mug.
Football shirt, amazing sale. Yep. Chris sold
that Sarah
mug today. That was Sarah resales there.
Hello, Sarah.
And Chris sold a Spitfire mug today.
Whoop.
Tonks has got a bit of a different view on storage unit. It says storage unit, no thanks. Another cost resellers don't need. I invested 4 to 5k in a garden shed, which helped us a lot. I can see your point as well. However, I don't actually have a garden, so that wouldn't work for me. You know, I wouldn't be able to do that option. So I think if you've got a garden, and also if you own the house, then that's fine, because I'm in rented accommodation anyway. So then, you know, even if I rented a house with, you know, with a garden, it might be they say, oh, you can't put that there. So there's lots of different things, you know, around that, really.
Like we say, you know, I wouldn't have bumped into all of my consignment clients. I wouldn't have met, you know, there's a lot of money to be made in just being available, being there. And unfortunately, not many people walk through my garden.
Yeah. So. I mean, like, you know, I don't agree with, like, the price of storage units. I do think they are too much, you know, for what they are. I do. But sometimes that is your only option as well.
I quite like it as well. I quite like going to work.
Yeah, it gives you that going to work feeling, doesn't it, really? And then when I come see you, it's like I'm coming to see you at work.
So I can't speak right now, I'm at work.
Sarah Resale says, hi ladies, sorry, washing up, not ignoring your hellos. That's all right, no problem. And
Sarah, I think if it's the same Sarah, I think she lives in my hometown, Whitney. I think.
Ooh.
I think if it's the same Sarah Resales, she'll let us know, hopefully.
Tonks also says, I'm in rented, still put a shed up, no one's complained yet, fingers crossed. Yes, let's put fingers crossed, because let's just hope you don't end up having to pull it down. I'm sure you wouldn't. Floss says, I have a 2-bed flat which is full of piles to sell on Vinted and eBay. I'm a hoarder and a shopaholic.
Represent.
I got in my I got 1-bed flat, and half of the living room kind of looks like a warehouse, and the other half is like my living room space.
Honestly, having a bigger house, I mean, mine's a 3-bed semi-detached, and having a bigger house just means you put more things in it. It doesn't mean I've got more space, it means I've got more stuff.
We've also got Santa in. Hello from the North Pole.
Santa.
He's going to start getting very busy soon.
I have felt like Santa's elf this week, ferrying around, like packaging the parcels up and like sending them off on their way. Felt like I was helping Santa out a bit.
And Sarah,
you live in Carterton? Okay, cool.
So yeah, it is Sarah, the one and only. So
I'm in awe. I've been following Sarah from the start of my journey. And my stepmom loves her as well. So we're avid fans, Sarah.
So what is like your favorite platform to sell on, and which one do you think you get the most sales out of?
I think it's two different questions really, because my
Yeah,
favorite to sell on, I think, has to be Vinted, because
yeah,
it's just, for sellers, it's just the best. It's,
yeah,
you don't have to, I do whack the prices down a little bit on Vinted, because you just don't have to pay the fees or the postage, and it's just so easy. It's that you know exactly what you're getting. Once you sell it,
yeah,
it's like, that's the money I'm getting.
yeah.
But but because of the way that it works, it means that you can't really sell things that are worth a lot of money very easily on there. So I think, for the breadth and scope, eBay has to be my favorite. I sell most of my stuff on
Yeah.
eBay. The fact that it's across the world, it always astounds me how people, international buyers will pay more than the item is worth, way more than
Oh
the
yeah,
item is worth in
yeah,
postage. And I'm just like, Jesus, you really want that mug, don't you?
yeah,
And it astounds me, but I just think it's wonderful for that. And I think the only thing, eBay does get me a bit of anxiety sometimes. I think, me and Sophie have discussed the negatives, that when you get a negative through and you feel like your whole life's crumbling apart, you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's but I do think it's my where I sell most stuff, and I think because I'm not strictly a clothes seller, I literally will sell friggin' anything, that eBay is the place to be, really.
yeah.
I've given up on Depop because I couldn't stand
Yeah,
the only 4 pictures each thing and all that sort of thing,
yeah.
but
We both
yeah.
kind of went on strike with Depop, didn't we? Because
Hmm.
I was only getting literally like sales once in a blue moon. I mean, fair play to people who do make Depop work for them. Um, but I just couldn't make it work really. Like
Yeah,
it just wasn't worth my energy. It just wasn't really worth my time. I found
the
the
way
fees
the
pretty
photos
high.
the way the photos go as well. I'm like, I'm taking
Yeah,
pictures, and then I go to put it on. It's like, oh, there's a button. I'm like, no,
yeah,
what? It's, yeah, it just
yeah.
wasn't for me.
No, I think it's quite behind as well. Like compared to other marketplaces, I think it's quite behind really as well.
Mm, yeah.
I mean, eBay is like the biggest marketplace, isn't it? It's the one that everyone kind of goes to
You
first.
just kind of have to suck it up with the fees. I do promote most of
Yeah,
my items now, and I was doing like 2% promotion, blah blah blah, and now I just do
yeah,
the recommended. I mean, I don't know
yeah.
that that's the right way to do it, but I
I
just go with it, because I'm just like, you know what, if I price things well enough, if I'm good at my job and I get things
yeah,
for a good price, or I get them for free, and I can price them competitively, and you know it it's okay. It's okay to forego those fees,
yeah,
for the sake of it rolling over, for the sake of creating that traction, and getting things out the door at the end of the day.
yeah,
I'm growing steadily, slowly but surely I'm growing, and that's all I can ask for, really. So
yeah,
as much as the fees are annoying, it's not, for me, it's just the price you pay, as you
yeah.
would do in any other business, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. And when I had Chris on from Cookie and the Haydens, because I'd sort of mentioned in a previous video about promoted listings, and I was a bit like, oh, I feel like they're just money grabbing, they're just trying to get as much off you, blah blah blah. And he made a really good point, and he said, would you rather sell like £100 worth of stuff with a promotion rate of like 2%, or would you rather sell £1,000 worth of stuff with a higher,
Yeah,
promotion rate? And because so since then, I have just put everything as like the recommended
yeah.
rate because
It
I would rather it was gone.
it does work,
'Cause-
unfortunately.
Yeah,
It does, and it sometimes. So there are days where I'm like, what the hell is going on? But if I make sure I'm listing 10 plus items a day, and either that is either listing or relisting, like you told me to do,
yeah,
put just doing
like sell
sell
some.
similars, yeah.
Yeah,
If I'm doing that every day, things stay pretty consistent,
mm,
and it all comes out in the wash, really.
yeah.
So it's I
I mean,
can't I don't really have anything bad to say about eBay, and it's,
yeah,
other than the things we all struggle with silly buyers and non-payers and stuff. So
yeah, yeah. And I've had a lot of that lately, actually. Certainly since I upgraded to a store, I've had far more people not paying for things,
mm,
far more people taking time paying for things, far more silly questions coming through. you know, but apparently that is what happens when you upgrade to a store. Like you do
yeah,
get far more crap with it. But it's fine. But yeah, I think it, like you say, it is what it is, and you just have to pay it, really, don't you? If you want it
Yeah.
gone, you've got to do it. I'm just gonna go up into the chat a minute. So Junie has a question. Where do you source your items that you sell? Is it a mixture of charity shops and car boot sales, or elsewhere just through consignments?
So charity shops and car boots, obviously car boots are done now around here, but car boots were amazing.
And we've
and
got
that
a really good
actually,
one as well, haven't we?
yeah, and it actually it ended up sort of ruining charity shops for a while, because it was like, oh,
Yeah,
that's so expensive.
I know, we got spoiled.
We're massively spoiled by car boots here. Sarah, you should come along next summer when they're back on again, if you don't already. Yeah, so those are the two main ones. I also get a lot from Olio, which, I don't know, there might be a bit of moral dilemmas involved there, but if anyone were to ask me what I was doing with the products the items that come available, then I would tell them. But I get an awful lot of Olio, and some really good stuff. Like I say, people throw away the most ridiculous
Yeah,
things. And Facebook Marketplace, the people who have started putting their prices up on Marketplace, I think they're
yeah,
getting a bit more savvy to it. But I've still found quite a lot of good stuff. People, I guess, just want to get rid when they put stuff on Marketplace. So I generally find it quite good for getting the odd deal here and there. But this is why you have to make it a full-time job, because this is all I do with my days. It's looking on Marketplace, looking on
yeah,
Olio, looking on, going to the charity shops, packaging stuff, listing stuff. This is, it's so easy to make it a full-time job, because there is so much to
yeah,
do to get the profits.
yeah,
And that's, I guess, where you have to love it. And I do love
yeah,
it.
yeah,
But you have to love what you do, otherwise you wouldn't stick at this. You wouldn't spend all this time doing all these things. But yeah.
yeah.
Talking too much on it.
No, it's fine. Tonk's still not tried Vinted, only did eBay and Depop. Might do Vinted over Christmas. Has taken a few weeks off doing new listings. Yeah, you
Yeah,
definitely need to
100%.
get on Vinted, and kind of, I think possibly like while you can, because they are really cracking down on people reselling on there, because it's not meant for resellers.
Mm-hmm.
And they are kind of cracking down on people and also items that are being resold. So I would get on there like as quick as you can, really.
Yeah.
And Sharon says, "Hi Sophie, sorry I'm late. That's no problem. Don't worry." And Julie says she won't make you sit in the corner, not like car boot Chris. He does that to me. Oh, that Chris. No, I'm not like that. Just scrolling down a little bit more. I rarely get questions and buyers not paying. Hope it stays that way. Yeah, me too. I do get quite a bit of it, unfortunately. And Sarah would love to come to the car boot. Yeah, we'll take a little trip down there.
Do a trip.
Might do a video this week. My every parcel was found in the middle of a field. Well, that's interesting. I need to watch your video actually, James, Sarah, because they've released so they basically bought loads of stuff off Fleek, which is like a vintage wholesale place. And it was meant to be grade A, but it all came through in like really bad condition, like totally not grade A. So I need to watch that. And a lot of people are promoting Fleek at the moment. A lot of YouTubers, they seem to be sponsored by them and things. And so it's a bit of an interesting one, really. That's the free site thing, isn't it? Yeah, that's what it is. Junie says, have you ever tried Free Cycle for items to sell? Obviously the same moral thing as the Olio site.
Yeah, I think I've strolled onto Free Cycle, but I can't remember there being very much around here. I don't know if you've looked around here, Soph, at Free Cycle,
Yeah.
but I think Olio is just really, really good in this area. And and there was actually someone that I was collecting quite a lot from, and she ended up going, oh, I can't be doing this anymore. She was getting all stuff from her neighbors and things, and she's like, I can't do this anymore. So she got in touch with me. She was like, can you come and take this all? And I was like, yep. And and a lot of it I gave away to charities, and that's the thing. If something doesn't sell, I've got good connections with a lot of charities around here, and I know a lot of good causes that helped me last year. And I like to give back to them and give them you know, the thing. So I think, you know, I think there's the moral dilemma about it, but I think as long as you're honest and you do your bit for charity, you know, I probably wouldn't ordinarily spend as much money as I do currently give to charity at charity shops. But you know, as long as you're sort of being as honest as you can, you're making up for it. I think it's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always honest. You know, even in charity shops, sometimes I'll be like, "Oh yeah, this is for my eBay store." Like, I'm always honest about it.
Yeah, some of them quite like it and try and flog me loads of other stuff. I'm like, "Oh, have you seen this?"
I think sometimes it is worth telling them because you know, some people, they will say like, "Oh, do you want to have a look out here, or do you want to have a look there?" And I think sometimes it is worth telling them. I don't know about the oleo thing, whether I've got a moral thing about it or not, because people are just putting it on for free because they don't want it. So I think once you've picked it up, what you do with that is up to you. Like whether you sell it or not, that's up
I
to
think
you.
if people say free to a good home, I go, oh, never mind. Not a good home.
Not a good home.
But no, I think if it's you know, like I say, I put stuff up on Olio as well, and sort of give back to the community and stuff as well. So I like to do that anyway. You know, not just to ease my guilt.
Tonk says grade bin, definitely not a. Fleet YouTubers are making £250 to do a video. Did not know that, because I know Dave ABL's done one as well. But I looked on Fleet for me actually, because I thought, oh, do you know what? I might invest in a bundle. But I don't know, I just kind of felt it was a little bit too risky, because don't really have a lot of control of what actually gets sent out to you. Like, you're just buying the bundle and God knows what, you know, what could be in it or what state it is as well. So I haven't done it. I just feel like, I don't know, a little bit of a risk for me anyway. Sarah says, I'm so old. I remember when Freeside Call was just an email group.
It still looks like that from what I remember. You go onto it and it's like a really old school website.
Chili B, good evening. And apparently Gumtree also has a category called freebies.
Yeah, I have looked on Gumtree
more. I literally don't really look at Gumtree, but I need to look at it more really, I think.
I think Facebook Marketplace used to be able to search free stuff on Facebook Marketplace as well, and then they changed it up. And you type in free now and it comes up with all kinds of bloody rubbish ads and all sorts.
Yeah, I know, and just things that aren't free either. No. Like, loads of people list things as free.
And then they're not free. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And then they'll tell you like a price in the description, or they're like, oh, open to offers or whatever. It's like, just put a price on it. Just say what you want.
Or put 1, 2, 3, 4, which is what I do. I don't put it as 0 because that means free.
Yeah. I'm like, just say what you see. Put a price. But yeah, and I have found actually that Facebook Marketplace is going up a lot more, because I sometimes look on it for like bundles and stuff like that of different things, either like clothes or games, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I found like people are definitely raising prices on things on there now.
Definitely.
But I don't know about you, but I kind of feel like in this area, I just never seem to find anything on there.
I've found a few things. I've managed to get quite a lot of Le Creuset from Marketplace, which I like selling, and I really like it anyway, to be honest.
Yeah.
And the odd bits of clothes here and there as well. Sometimes if someone's selling like a bunch of stuff and you scroll across, there'll happen to be a good brand there in the midst of what they're selling. So I've managed to get quite a few bits, and also some free stuff as well from Marketplace. You know, you just have, like I say, you just have to be patient and you have to be diligent and be looking at it all the time. You know, when you're going through your apps and you're checking everything, I'll go onto a Marketplace and I'll scroll through and see what's there. And you know, I think a lot of the time it is quite funny, because me and Sophie will be like, damn it, you got that, didn't you, from Olio? It's like, yeah, I did, sucker.
If I'm scrolling through Olio and I see an item and it will be like gone 2 hours ago or something, or gone 1 hour ago, I know who's picked that up, and it's Nicole. And I'll message her and I'll be like, you've picked that up, haven't you? And she's like, yeah, I did. And I'm just like, oh, for God's sake.
Yup. No.
Yeah, whenever I see like, especially if it's like 3 or 4 things, it's like gone an hour ago, gone an hour ago, gone an hour ago. I'm like, that's
No.
Nicole.
Yeah, she don't get out of bed for one item. She doesn't
No,
travel across town for one item. She
no.
she goes for all of them.
Can you remember that thing I made you get up out of bed for on Olio?
Oh my god, that story is actually quite funny because she sends me literally to the other side of town. She goes, "I'm ill, I can't do it. Please, you go give it." So I was like, "Fine."
Flu.
I pull up at this address or where my sat nav tells me to go, and I end up having to walk down. It's one of those ones where it's the backwards houses, so you can't actually get to the front doors in your car because they're all backwards or whatever. So I have to walk down this massive hill and get to the last house, and it's there, and it's this fucking little book of, I don't know, facts or jokes or something.
It was a game. It was like an IQ game thing. Stack of
like literally the shittest stocking filler ever. And I messaged her. I was like, "You sent me all that way for a fucking stocking filler? Are you serious?" So eventually she gets it, she lists it, she sells it, and then what happens, so?
I got negative feedback. And they just put a feedback saying, "What a load of tosh."
And it was.
There was nothing like wrong with the item, like itself or the delivery. They just put, "What a load of tosh," and I was like, "Oh, great." So now I've got.
It shouldn't be allowed. That eBay should remove that because that has nothing to do with you as a seller. But it was quite funny, and I was like, I agree.
That was my karma, really, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sending me all the way there.
Yeah. Floss says, I was thinking of checking out the sales in the shop and giving that a whirl. I think what I'm thinking about doing is wait until January sales and going somewhere like TK Maxx and trying a bit of retail arbitrage.
I've done a bit of Morrison's and Tesco have toys that they massively reduce, and I picked up some of them and sold them recently. There was a doll set thing, this rainbow doll set thing that I think doubled my money on that one. So I think I paid just under 30 or something and sold it for 55 or something like that. And there was a couple of these locker things, again, just some real plastic tap, but obviously brand new in box, and they were selling them £7.50 each, and I sold them one for 17 and the other for 22. So doing that in when you see them come up in the supermarkets, especially if there's a few on the shelf and stuff like that, I usually check out the comps while I'm in the shop, but I was like, yep, sweet. And they've sold really well just before Christmas, so it's definitely worth doing. I think supermarkets are a good shout for that kind of thing, because they're just about shifting stock, and not really about how much they sell them for.
I think I'm gonna wait to the January sales, just see what else I can pick up just in the sales as well, and also the whole of January off, so I'm gonna have the time to be able to dedicate whole days to this kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to upping my game in January. Junie has a question for you saying, I hope you don't mind me asking, but earlier said you're in recovery. Has reselling kept you steady and occupied enough for you to stay in recovery?
Of course. And for me, I'm part of a couple of fellowships as well, which have obviously kept me where I'm meant to be, and that's that's sort of how I'm recovering. But I think the amazing thing that's given me is time and motivation and energy to start reselling and stick at it. I wasn't very good at sticking at things before, but I've stuck at it now. And reselling is something I love, and I wouldn't have discovered that if I hadn't have gotten sober. I wouldn't have come across it. And I just think it's one of those weird situations where it's kind of all fallen into place this year for me. And it's a bit cringe, isn't it, to say that 2022 has been my year, but it has, and
you met me in 2022 as well.
But it has, and it's reselling has been a huge part of that, and I'm super excited for what's to come, because in the short space of time I've been reselling, I have got to the point where I can now keep, you know, I'm not worrying about finances as much as I was. You know, I've got the heating on, the lights are on for now. They do keep
Yeah.
turning off, but you know, it's yeah, it's been an amazing help with staying in recovery, and just being having something to do with my time, because I spent so much time just drinking and using, and now I don't. Now I spend time
Yeah.
shopping in charity shops and taking pictures of crap.
Yeah, and now you've got a successful reselling business as well. So, you know, there you go. Tonk says brilliant. Yeah, it was a funny old story that. I got January sales, Peppa Pig shopping centres, sold them all this year, 2 years later. Be careful in January sales. Yeah, yeah, because they will try and get rid of just the shit as well, won't they? But we'll see. Boyfriend wanted a Berghaus coat for 190. Got 190 Berghaus coats for £140 with a blue light card discount. I still need to get myself one of them. I've been meaning to get one for like years, but I just keep forgetting. Free Berghaus backpack, which I sold within an hour for £25. So the coat cost me 115. Very nice. Well done. And Junie says, your story is very interesting, Nicole, so I appreciate your honesty and being so open with what you're saying. I find reselling for me as an extra is helping my mental health, so it's very positive. I definitely think it's a good like distraction, isn't it, as well? Yeah. And you're building something and growing something for yourself, and you've got total control over that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do think like anything kind of self-employed, like having your own business related things, sometimes that is like the best option for people.
Definitely.
Not everyone is suited to like working for someone either.
I couldn't imagine myself working for someone. I was far too headstrong, and you know. So I'm blessed. I'm very grateful to be reselling, and to have had such a fantastic year. And it's, you know, it's all the more reason to stay sober, to keep it going, because I wouldn't be able to keep this up if I was still getting drunk every night. No. What's your plans for 2023 then, Nicole? Make more money.
Make it rain.
I have got to get the boring bits sorted. I've got to get the business bank account sorted and things like that. I've registered the business, but I need to get the business bank account sorted so that I can start doing things properly. It's I think organizational and keep going with the routine and with the system that I started when I moved into the storage unit. You know, like I said, it's good. The house is going to be a little bit mental right now, but storage unit's bloody freezing. So I was like, I'm not gonna do any packing in here. So I've brought everything over here to do packing over the last couple of days. Just keep going and keep pushing at it. Keep learning from my mistakes, I think, as well. And I think up, you know, keep learning about different items, different products, see what works for me. I've no interest in slowing down or trying to niche myself. I quite like the fact that I'm you know, selling
anything and everything.
Yeah, I think that works for me. Start saving money to finally go on holiday abroad for the first time in years. So that's the plan.
Nice, cool. So we said we'd keep this to about 45 minutes, didn't we, earlier? So we're just slightly over that. So we'll start signing off now. Thanks so much for joining, Nicole. It's been a really great chat. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me.
We've got also 27 people in the chat, so thank you so much. Please make sure you give the video a like, and please subscribe to the channel if you're not. Next week, hopefully, we've got Tom's Boutique on next week. James and Sarah, so they should be joining. And also next week it is the Christmas raffle, so do join in for the live next week as well, because the Christmas raffle will also be taking place. There's loads of great stuff. It's £1 a ticket, so if you do want to get some tickets off me, just DM me on Instagram. It's at SB Reselling Co 22. Get some tickets, and we'll all have a great, nice Christmassy live next week. Do follow Nicole on Instagram as well at BrandBabez. Go give her a follow. So thanks so much, Nicole. And we will catch you all in the next video. Take care.
Thank you.